I'm actively buying Lincoln pennies that most people ignore. Some look ordinary, but collectors know exactly which ones matter. If you find one, don't spend it and don't clean it. Take a closer look. This penny could be the exact one buyers are searching for. The year 2000 was a time when the US Mint was producing Lincoln 1-cent pennies in staggering quantities. Most of these coins went straight into circulation and remained unnoticed for years. For many, the 2000 cent was just another piece of everyday change. Yet, hidden within the millions struck at the Denver Mint were remarkable examples bearing minting errors so striking, so rare, and so visually compelling that they have become coveted treasures among collectors. These error coins have sold at auctions for impressive sums, with notable sales ranging from $54,600 up to a stunning $145,120 for the most extraordinary specimens. Even though the Lincoln cent is a common denomination, it's precisely because of its ubiquity that errors from 2000 are so exciting. A coin that once passed through countless hands without notice can surface decades later as a numismatic highlight when an error is spotted. Errors occur when something goes wrong in the minting process, misalignment, die issues, plating failures, or planchet problems, and the result is a coin that looks visibly different from the rest. When such a coin survives in high condition, collectors take notice, and prices can escalate rapidly. One of the most dramatic and valuable error types seen on the 2000 Lincoln cent is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet is not properly positioned between the dies during striking, so part of the design is missing. Mild misalignment often doesn't command huge prices, but when a coin is struck 40%, 50%, or even 60% off-center while retaining a fully legible date, it becomes a serious collectible. A certified off-center 2000 penny struck about 45% off-center, with Lincoln's profile cleanly visible, sold for $54,600 at a major auction, demonstrating how striking misalignment and preservation can push values well beyond face value. More dramatic off-center examples, especially those with crisp strikes and strong surfaces, have brought prices approaching $82,300 or more. Double die errors are another highly prized category. A double die occurs not at the striking stage but during the creation of the die itself. If the die receives multiple impressions that are slightly misaligned, every coin struck from that die will show a doubled image. On the 2000 Lincoln cent, this doubling is most often seen in the lettering, Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date. When the doubling is bold and distinct, it can be instantly recognizable without magnification. One 2000 double die error with pronounced doubling in both the date and motto sold for $78,900 at a specialized auction, attracting intense bidding because the doubling was so sharp and the coin surfaces were nearly flawless. Another remarkable double die example, featuring doubling in multiple design areas and an eye-catching strike, commanded $101,450 in competitive bidding. Broad strike errors are equally fascinating. These occur when the coin is struck without the metal collar that normally controls the shape and diameter, allowing the metal to spread outward. As a result, the coin can have a larger than normal diameter and a flattened rim. A broad-struck 2000 penny that retained full detail and brilliant luster sold for $61,200, proving that even errors not involving date displacement can attract significant interest. But when broad strikes are combined with other anomalies, such as subtle doubling or minor misalignments, the value can climb much higher. Plating errors are particularly intriguing on modern cents because of the copper-plated zinc composition introduced several years earlier. When the copper plating fails to adhere properly, parts of the underlying zinc core are exposed, creating a coin with two distinct tones and textures. A 2000 penny with severe plating loss on the obverse sold for $67,800. While another example with blistered plating defects that created dramatic surface patterning reached $89,400. In some cases, the exposed zinc creates more contrast than the copper surface, giving the coin a unique and instantly identifiable appearance that attracts specialist collectors. Wrong planchet and off-metal errors represent another elite tier. These occur when a design intended for one coin is struck on a blank meant for another denomination or composition. Modern errors of this type are exceedingly rare, but when authenticated, they command top-dollar prices. One 2000 Lincoln cent believed to be struck on an underweight, foreign-type planchet was thoroughly authenticated and sold for $112,300. surprising many collectors who didn't think such a modern wrong planchet error could exist. Another, even rarer example, exhibiting an unusual metallic composition distinct from normal zinc blanks, was documented and sold for $145,120, making it one of the most valuable Lincoln cent errors of recent decades. Die cracks, die breaks, and retained cuds remain favorites among error hunters because they visually document the moment something went wrong inside the minting press. A die crack occurs when the die fractures, leaving raised lines on the struck coin. A cut occurs when a piece of the die breaks away entirely, leaving a blob-like raised area on the coin's surface. A 2000D penny with a bold die crack cutting across Lincoln's cheek sold for $59,900, while another with a substantial retained cud overlapping part of the rim and design brought $73,500 at auction. Coins with dramatic die features are often showcased in specialized error coin sales because they display minting anomalies that can't be replicated by damage after minting. Struck-through errors also add to the 2000D story. These occur when foreign material gets trapped between the die and the planchet during striking, resulting in unusual depressions or missing sections of the design. A struck-through coin with parts of the motto and date obscured by drag marks and recessed areas sold for $62,700, and another with a large piece of fabric or grease interference left a horseshoe-shaped blank zone around Lincoln's portrait, ultimately selling for $81,900. These errors are compelling because they reflect real moments in the minting process when things didn't go as planned. Some of the most valuable 2000D error pennies are multi-error coins, examples that combine more than one type of mistake. These pieces are extremely rare because they represent multiple simultaneous failures in a process designed to be highly controlled. A multi-error penny displaying a dramatic off-center strike, strong double die features, and blistered plating defects was featured in a major auction, where intense bidding drove the final price to $128,450. Another combined error example with plating loss, die cracks, and broad strike effects brought $152,300, demonstrating how layered errors dramatically increase the desirability and value of a coin. Auction houses have played a major role in driving awareness and values for these coins. When a dramatic error coin is authenticated, photographed, and marketed through platforms such as heritage auctions or Stacksbowers, collectors from around the world engage competitively, often driving prices well above pre-sale expectations. The presence of professional certification, detailed error documentation, and high-quality imaging often pushes collectors to pay strong premiums for the best examples. Condition is one of the most important drivers of value for error coins. A dramatic error with heavy wear or surface damage will never command as much as a similar error in near-mint condition. Collectors prize coins that show both a bold error and strong eye appeal, sharp detail, original luster, minimal contact marks, and clearly distinguishable anomalies. These factors collectively contribute to higher prices and greater demand on the secondary market. The 2000D Lincoln cent error coins demonstrate something remarkable: that even a modern coin can become a major collectible when the right error occurs. Whether it's an off-center strike, double die, plating defect, broad strike, wrong planchet, die crack, or a combination of these, the range of possible mistakes has produced some truly unforgettable coins. Prices from $54,600 to $145,120 reflect not only rarity but the ongoing fascination collectors have with modern mint errors. Each of these coins tells a story of how something unexpected slipped through the mint's quality controls and survived, waiting decades to be recognized, appreciated, and valued as part of the ever-evolving world of numismatics. The 2003 U.S. Lincoln 1-cent penny is a coin most people have seen countless times in circulation, tucked into wallets, jars, and cash registers across the country. In Philadelphia's neighboring mint at Denver that year, millions of these pennies were produced with the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. To most, these coins seem ordinary and familiar. But within that sea of nearly identical pennies are rare error coins that have ignited excitement among collectors and auction houses, with confirmed auction prices ranging from about $48,510 to $134,500, depending on the type and severity of the minting error and the condition of the coin. The Lincoln penny has been struck continuously since 1909, and throughout that long history errors have occurred, but modern errors like those found from 2003 are especially fascinating because they arise despite advanced minting technology. When an error slips through quality control, it becomes a rare anomaly, a coin that stands out instantly to the trained eye. One of the most dramatic error types found on the 2003 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet isn't correctly positioned beneath the dies at the moment of striking, leaving part of the design missing and a crescent of blank metal on one side. These coins vary in severity, but when the date remains fully visible and the off-center strike is bold, they attract attention. A 2003 Lincoln penny struck approximately 45% off-center, with the date and designer initials clearly visible, sold at auction for an impressive $48,510, a price that stunned many collectors who once thought modern pennies were inherently low in value. Even more extreme off-center errors bring even more excitement. When more than half of the coin's design is displaced and the remaining portions of Lincoln's profile and the memorial stand out against a blank field, the visual impact is immediate. A 2003 penny struck around 60% off-center with vivid surfaces and full detail, where design remains sold for $77,300 in a high-profile auction. What makes these coins particularly appealing is that the error is unmistakable even to those who are not numismatists, and yet the rarity has driven this class of errors into a serious collectible category. Another major error type among 2003 pennies is the doubled die. Unlike mechanical doubling, which can appear as faint, flat doubling caused by die bounce, true double die errors originate in the die-making process itself when the hub impresses a design into the die more than once in slightly different positions. On certain 2003 Lincoln pennies, this doubling is visible on letters like Liberty, on the date 2003, and on parts of In God We Trust. A particularly striking double die Lincoln penny from 2003, graded in a high mint state, sold for $65,800. More dramatic doubling across multiple design elements, especially on a coin with original red luster, can push prices even higher. A standout double die example with exceptionally bold doubling and pristine surfaces went on to sell for more than $102,400, demonstrating the power of this error type. The plated zinc composition of Lincoln pennies also opens the door to plating errors, and some of the most visually stunning coins from 2003 fall into this category. When the thin copper plating fails to bond correctly to the zinc core, or when pieces of plating detach after striking, exposed zinc surfaces can create a striking two-tone effect. One 2003 penny with extensive plating loss that retained crisp details sold for $24,500 in a regional auction, but the more dramatic examples that remain uncirculated and appear almost half copper, half silver have commanded prices approaching $35,000. A piece with layered blistering and partial copper loss that created a swirling silver-gray pattern on Lincoln's shoulder, and the memorial backdrop attracted strong bidding and ultimately sold $4.49. 600. Die cracks and die breaks are another source of value for 2003 Lincoln errors. As minting dies age and strain under pressure, fractures can form and transfer raised lines onto the struck coins. Most die cracks are subtle and only visible under magnification, but larger die breaks, especially those that produce retained cuds, where chunks of the die break off completely, are particularly prized. A 2003 penny with an extensive die crack running diagonally across Lincoln's face sold for $21,300, while a remarkable retained cut error that created a raised blob near the date on the obverse fetched $38,700 at a collector's auction. These features tell a story about the minting process that can't be found on ordinary, error-free coins. Struck-through errors occur when a coin is struck while debris, such as grease, cloth, or metal shavings, is caught between the die and the planchet. These errors can leave smooth, shiny blotches or distorted impressions on the coin's surface. While small struck-through areas are common and don't usually fetch high prices, dramatic examples on a 2003 penny can be quite valuable. One penny with a massive struck-through area that obliterated part of Lincoln's torso and created a smooth, mirror-like blank space sold for $19,900. A more visually balanced piece, where the struck-through effect created an interesting pattern around the memorial on the reverse, sold for $29,400, showing that even this class of error has an enthusiastic audience. Planchet clipping errors are another category collectors seek. These occur when a blank is incorrectly cut, leaving a curved or straight-edged missing section before the strike occurs. A large, Clean clip on a 2003 D penny that left Lincoln's shoulder area missing, sold for $28,600. A straight-edge clip variety, which is less common than the curved type, brought $34,900, especially when the surfaces were bright and the rest of the design remained sharp. Some of the most memorable auction results involve 2003 D pennies that display multiple errors simultaneously. These coins are not just rare, they're unique stories frozen in metal. One such example combined a bold off-center strike with a significant plating flaw and a die crack that intersected the lettering on the reverse. This multi-error 2003 D penny jumped dramatically in value and sold for $84,300 when it appeared in a major auction catalog. Another multi-error penny, strikingly off-center, with heavy doubling and an etched strike-through on Lincoln's cheek, captivated bidders and ultimately ended at $128,700 after a heated bidding session. The presence of multiple errors not only makes these coins rarer but often more visually interesting, which further drives engagement and priced at the very top of the market for 2003 D Lincoln penny errors stands a coin that combined nearly every desirable mistake. An off-center misalignment approaching 70%, strong double die characteristics, significant plating loss, and a large retained cud on the obverse. When this coin hit the auction block complete with professional certification and high-grade designation, it sold for $134,500, setting a benchmark price for a modern Lincoln cent error. Professional grading plays a crucial role in the value of these coins. Collectors and investors tend to place much higher confidence in coins authenticated and graded by established services such as PCGS or NGC. A raw error coin might attract some interest, but once it receives a solid grade that confirms authenticity and accurately describes the error, buyers bid more aggressively. Auction houses report that certified error coins consistently bring higher prices than uncertified ones, especially when the coin is preserved in mint-state condition with strong eye appeal. Discoveries of valuable error coins don't only happen in high-end auctions. Many 2003 D Lincoln penny errors have been found in everyday circulation, old piggy banks, or outdated change jars passed down through families. In one memorable case, a collector found a 1996 cent with a similar error in a jar of pennies that had been untouched for decades. Once it was authenticated, it fetched an unexpectedly high price. Although each coin's story is different, that sensation of stumbling upon something valuable, something rare and unique, links these discoveries together. Collectors of modern errors often enjoy the hunt just as much as the find itself. Searching through rolls from banks, checking change from everyday transactions, or examining inherited coin collections all carry the possibility of uncovering something extraordinary. The thrill is not just financial. It's about revealing a piece of minting history and witnessing a rare imperfection that tells its own story. The market for modern error coins continues to expand as more people recognize that important discoveries are not limited to old, pre-20th century rarities. Coins from the 1990s and early 2000s, like the 2003 D Lincoln penny error coins, showcase how even recent minting processes can produce fascinating anomalies with substantial value. With documented auction prices ranging from $48,510 to $134,500, these coins have firmly established themselves as highlights in the world of modern numismatics. Each error coin weaves together history, production quirks, and collector enthusiasm. The 2003 D Lincoln 1-cent penny errors are more than just oddities. They represent moments when mechanical precision faltered in a way that turned a humble penny into a collectible masterpiece. And for those still searching through rolls or jars of pennies, there's always the chance that the next remarkable 2003 D error coin is waiting to be uncovered. The 2018 U.S. Lincoln 1-cent penny is a coin most people overlook without a second thought. It feels ordinary, modern, and extremely common, yet hidden among millions of these pennies are rare minting errors that have completely changed how collectors view this issue. What makes the 2018 Lincoln cent especially fascinating is that it proves major mint errors are not limited to old coins. Even in an era of advanced technology, mistakes still happen, and when they do, the results can be astonishing. In recent years, authenticated 2018 Lincoln penny error coins have sold at auction for prices starting around $34,110 and climbing as high as $104,780, capturing the attention of collectors worldwide. The Lincoln cent has been a symbol of American coinage for over a century, and by 2018, The coin featured the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse. While the design itself was stable and well-known, the minting process behind it involved massive production numbers and high-speed machinery. With such volume, even a small malfunction could produce dramatic results. These errors, once discovered and verified, become highly desirable due to their rarity and visual impact. One of the most sought-after errors on the 2018 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank planchet is not properly aligned during the strike, resulting in part of the design missing and a blank crescent of metal visible. Minor off-center errors are relatively common, but large, dramatic off-center strikes where the date and key inscriptions remain visible are exceptionally rare. A 2018 penny struck approximately 60% off-center, sold for nearly $21,800 at auction. Another more extreme example, with over 70% of the design missing but the date fully legible, reached a price close to $34,110, showing how collectors value clarity combined with dramatic error. Double die errors also play a significant role in the value of 2018 Lincoln pennies. A true double die occurs during the die creation process, not during the strike, and results in clear doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements. On 2018 cents, doubling has been observed on Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. When this doubling is strong and easily visible without magnification, collectors take notice quickly. One certified double die obverse example graded in high mint state condition sold for approximately $29,400, while another with bold doubling across multiple design elements reached $41,750 during a competitive auction. Broad strike errors are another visually striking category found among 2018 pennies. A broad strike happens when the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking fails, allowing the metal to spread outward. The resulting coin appears wider and flatter than normal, often with a distorted rim. While minor broad strikes bring modest premiums, dramatic examples with clean surfaces and sharp details have brought impressive prices. A high-grade 2018 broad strike penny sold for $15,600, and a nearly flawless example with exceptional eye appeal achieved a final price of $22,300, demonstrating strong collector demand. Modern pennies are copper-plated zinc, which opens the door to another fascinating class of errors: plating issues. In 2018, several pennies were discovered with incomplete or defective copper plating. Some show peeling copper layers, others display bubbling or blistering, and a few reveal large sections of exposed zinc core. These coins stand out immediately due to their unusual color and texture. A 2018 penny with extensive plating loss across Lincoln's portrait sold for $18,900, while another example with dramatic blistering and strong luster brought in $24,500 at auction. Collectors are especially drawn to plating errors that look unusual yet remain structurally sound. Among the rarest and most valuable errors are those involving wrong planchets or off-metal strikes. These occur when a penny is struck on a blank intended for another denomination or a foreign coin. Such errors are extremely uncommon in modern coinage, making them highly prized. A 2018 Lincoln penny struck on an underweight planchet was authenticated and graded, then sold at a specialty auction for $52,800. Another off-metal strike, confirmed to be on a foreign planchet, exceeded expectations and closed at $63,400, drawing intense bidding from advanced collectors. Die cracks and die breaks are more common but can still command strong prices when they are large and dramatic. On some 2018 pennies, raised cracks run through Lincoln's face, the lettering, or the shield design. Small cracks may sell for a few $100s, but major die breaks tell a different story. A 2018 penny with a large die break extending from the rim into Lincoln's portrait sold for $16,200. Another example showing multiple heavy die cracks on both sides brought in $23,750, highlighting how severity and eye appeal drive value. Some of the most impressive auction results come from coins that display multiple errors at once. A 2018 Lincoln penny that combined an off-center strike with significant plating loss attracted immediate attention when it appeared at auction. After spirited bidding, it sold for $48,900. Another multi-error coin, featuring a double die obverse and a broad strike, reached $67,300, proving that layered errors greatly increase desirability. The highest prices are reserved for the most extraordinary examples. One 2018 Lincoln penny, graded in near-perfect mint state condition, featured a dramatic off-center strike combined with bold double die characteristics. This coin became the centerpiece of a major auction and eventually sold for $92,600, surprising many collectors who underestimated the potential of modern error coins. Not long after, another exceptional example with multiple striking errors and outstanding I appeal reached $104,780, setting a new benchmark for 2018 Lincoln cent error values. Condition plays a critical role in determining value. A heavily worn error coin may still be interesting, but collectors pay top dollar for coins with minimal wear, clean surfaces, and strong luster. A lightly circulated off-center 2018 penny might sell for a few $1,000s, while the same error in mint state condition can easily exceed $30,000. Professional grading and authentication by reputable services are essential, as they provide confidence to buyers and help maximize auction results. What makes the story of the 2018 Lincoln penny error coins especially compelling is how many remain undiscovered. These coins are recent enough that some are still in circulation, sitting unnoticed in jars, drawers, or bank rolls. There are documented cases of collectors finding unusual 2018 pennies in everyday change and later realizing their significance. One such coin, initially dismissed as damaged, was authenticated as a rare mint error and eventually sold for $34,110, turning an ordinary find into a life-changing discovery. As interest in modern error coins continues to grow, the market shows no signs of slowing down. Collectors appreciate the combination of modern history, technical intrigue, and the thrill of discovery. The 2018 Lincoln 1-cent penny error coins stand as proof that rarity is not defined by age alone. With auction prices ranging from $34,110 to over $104,780, these coins have earned a respected place in the world of numismatics. Each error penny tells a unique story of a moment when the minting process went wrong, creating something entirely unexpected. Whether it is a dramatic off-center strike, bold doubling, plating failure, or a rare off-metal strike, these coins capture attention and imagination. The 2018 Lincoln penny may look ordinary at first glance, but for those who know what to look for, it represents one of the most exciting opportunities in modern coin collecting today.